I think I've gotten good enough at this game to at least be able to talk about it a little bit with some sort of knowledge. So here I go. I'm playing in slow motion. Oh, here we go. Speed up a little bit. This first or last turn on this circuit, this is San Diego. Taking this outer edge here without going out of bounds is somewhere around this part. Don't take the berm. You have to slow down and make too tight of a turn. It's best to try to turn in early and get on throttle as soon as possible to make this on the 250s. Oh, not too fast. Land it, shift into third and first. Shift into third in the air. Somewhere around here. Take this in third, stay in third, and then lift off throttle or roll off the throttle over this jump so you don't land too far. And that'll give you a good acceleration over this little table to land into the triple. And in the second gear for this double, you could take it in third, you go a little bit further, but it'll make it harder to stop. Take this, go high up on the berm so you can accelerate and clear the next single or double, which leads into a motocross triple. And this you have to pull the stick back and lean back to get the traction on the tires, and also seat bounce to get the air to clear that triple, and I barely cleared it. Same with this berm. I want to go high up on the berm. Take a tight line. Don't go too wide, unless you're skilled enough. I'm not skilled enough to take a wide line and carry speed through there. But I like to accelerate straight over this triple. Again, seat bounce. Pull back on the rider weight stick, whichever one you have it set to. The seat bounce. And that'll give you the air to clear this triple. I haven't figured out the inside line. I think you'd have to roll the first single and then double it. But I'd take the outer line for this one and just double all the way through. I don't know if there's enough traction. Maybe if I took that outer berm faster, I could triple in. I don't know. I haven't been able to do it yet. This is a straightforward whoop section. I don't like to do the wheelie trick. I have to do it on some circuits where there's a motocross triple right after the whoops. But if there's no jump to clear, I don't do the wheelie technique. Same with this, is just pull back on the stick. You're going to need good suspension to regularly clear the whip sections. And I'll get into that later. And this is just a double. It's really difficult to carry the speed. For some reason this turn is really... There's a lot of rolling resistance. This is full... Oh, no, it's not full speed. Let's try to go full speed through here. So there's a... I'm trying to ride that berm as best as possible, but there's a lot of rolling resistance in this section. And these wet sections as well. It's hard to clear. I can't clear the triple, and there's a lot of rolling resistance in this dip here, and I have to do the wheelie trick or pull back on both sticks to get enough traction to get this double even regularly. And then in order to get this next double, I have to take the berm and accelerate straight into it. I haven't yet been able to clear berms smoothly and fast around the outside. And then that's the end of the lap. This was a tough one, but I picked it up pretty quick because I've practiced on all the other tracks, and then completely missed the landing here. Alright, on to the settings. The settings necessary for getting through the whoops cleanly, regularly. So the bike setup. Go to load, usual nomenclature, select. So the main the main feature of suspension that allows the motorcycle, excuse me, to make it through the whip sections is having a soft rear end and a stiff front end. What that does is it transfers the weight to the back as quickly as possible, but or not as quickly as possible, but with as much traction as possible. And in terms of response time, you have fast response time in the front and slow response time in the rear, effectively giving the rear, quote-unquote, more grip. And then control the movement with the dampers. And I had this at the minimum setting before, but I noticed I've had a hard time clearing the jumps. Having a stiffer rear end on the motorcycle allows it to pump through the transitions a lot more efficiently and clear jumps easier. So having a relatively more firm compression damping and spring in the rear helps clear jumps. The extension damping, that affects the traction coming off the corner. Faster extension, which was a lower setting, which is the green bar. So it's at 1. The faster the extension, the more rear end traction out of the corner you have, which is more. It can cause understeer or give you more traction if you accelerate straight out of the turns. So depending on how you want to ride, you can try and power slide the turns. I don't know if that's effective in this game or not, but I have more consistency with a faster front extension damping to give me more traction. Rear extension, I don't want the rear end to bounce, and this is the minimum setting that I found to work well with my other settings. And preload, because the rear suspension is so soft, I have the preload all the way up. That effectively changes the ride height of the bike. And front preload, I don't want it all the way at the top. I want it to have some sag. So I'm assuming max preload with the rear, this already has some sag because the suspension is so soft. And then since the front spring is maxed out, I don't want the suspension sitting at the top of the fork. I want it to sag a little bit, and that allows it to have more extension when you come off the ground. And also, when going on the whoops, if the suspension were topped out, it'd be a hard impact on the first initial hit. What this does with having some sag in the suspension allows it to extend the front spring to extend out a bit more, and then soak up the initial impact with what would be the sag position, the sag distance from the resting sitting position to the top of the shock is a sag distance. So when the front end is fully unloaded, the spring is completely extended to its maximum length, the spring and damper system. And then on the impact, there's very little resistance in that first initial movement until the spring gets fully loaded to the rider's weight and speed into the impact of the bump, effectively making it smoother on initial impact from an unloaded state. And talked about everything. Gear ratio, I've set to medium. I haven't changed it since I started playing. It seems fine. I like the gears. I could try short, I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Till the next one.